With Hall of Fame voting results set to be released in the next few weeks, I'd like to put out my picks. In this video, I'll be going over my picks and justifying them, and also mentioning why some popular players might not make it. My first vote goes to Derek Jeter. No surprises there. Mr. November enters his first year on the ballot with the 6th most hits in history and a career batting average over 300, not to mention his leadership as the captain of the Yankees for many years. However, I'm not buying into the hype that he's going to be unanimous. As observed in years past, voters can be swayed by the most meticulous details. I'm sure some voters are going to cite his low power numbers, or the fact that he never won an MVP, or better yet, his subpar defense. Regardless of how you look at it, Derek Jeter's a Hall of Famer. Case closed. I'm just going to throw these next 3 guys out there at the same time because I'd rather save this debate for a future video. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Sammy Sosa. They all got my vote. I do think steroid era players belong in the Hall of Fame, but I'll save that for another video. Next up is Curt Schilling. People are going to say his win totals are too low to be in the Hall of Fame, but I think pitcher wins are one of the most idiotic stats in the game, so I'm just going to ignore that. His ERA plus, which adjusts ERA based off of park metrics, is 127, 100 is league average. This ties him with Hall of Famers Bob Gibson, Tom Seaver, and Stan Kowalski. His 4.38 K to walk ratio ranks the highest since 1884. That's right, 1884, not 19. His strikeout total of 3,116 is absolutely amazing, and he struck out 300 batters in 3 seasons. That's pretty good. Now with those stats, you'd think he's a surefire candidate, right? Well, his Twitter may prove otherwise. To put it mildly, he's been a colorful character in the years after his retirement. But I thought Hall of Fame voting is based off of performance, not your political views. For those reasons, Curt Schilling has my vote. Billy Wagner's another player that I cannot believe is still not in the Hall of Fame yet. He has 422 career saves, which ranks 6th of all time. His career ERA plus of 187 is second only to fellow closer Mariano Rivera, and his 11.9 strikeouts per 9 innings is the best in MLB history. Not to mention his .998 walks and hits per 9 innings is second best only to Addie Joss. Now, Hall of Fame voters are a bit impartial to closers, but Rivera, Trevor Hoffman, and Lee Smith have all been elected within the last 5 years. I think it's time voters stop being so close-minded and let Billy Wagner in the Hall of Fame. My last vote goes to Larry Walker. It's an absolute travesty that he's been left off the ballot for so long, and it's mostly been for just one reason, so I'll just get it out of the way now. Coors Field has no effect on him. St. Louis Walker was still elite outside of Coors. That's not a valid reason to keep him off, okay? Whew, now that I got that out of the way, let's dive into some numbers here. A career 300 batter, a career slugging percentage over 500, over 200 career stolen bases. He truly had it all. He was even still slugging 500 in St. Louis at 38 years old. A true 5-tool player like him belongs in the Hall of Fame for sure. So here's my ballot. Now let's dive into some players that I left off. You'll notice that I left off Omar Vizquel and Andruw Jones. Jones played great defense, but by the time he was 30, his career was essentially over. Just barely hitting over the Mendoza line, and even dipping below it in a few years. His defense isn't enough to save the fact that he was just a below-average hitter in the majority of his career. Omar Vizquel also played great defense, but in an era without StatCast, it's tough to truly value his defense by any other means other than the eye test, and that's not enough. And with him being just a slightly average hitter, that's not enough for Cooperstown. And people are going to say that he's basically Ozzie Smith, and Ozzie Smith's in the Hall of Fame, but honestly, I don't even think Ozzie Smith belongs in the Hall of Fame either. Did I miss anyone? Be sure to comment who you would vote for and if you disagree with my picks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next edition of Nick's MLB Rundown.